In Hong Kong, two prominent groups of Chinese with overseas backgrounds stand out: the British Chinese and the Canadian Chinese. The British Chinese are descendants of working-class Hong Kongers who migrated to the UK from the 1950s to the 1980s, taking advantage of the 1948 British Nationality Act, which granted citizenship to individuals from British colonies. These Hong Kongers originated from the rural villages of the new territories, aiming to seek prosperity by establishing Chinese takeaways and restaurants throughout Britain. Today, if you visit a Chinese takeaway in Britain, chances are it's operated by Hong Kongers or their descendants from the new territories' villages. In fact, the exodus of villagers to the UK was so significant that certain villages became abandoned and remain largely deserted to this day. Some children of these Hong Kong immigrants, including myself, chose to return to our parents' birthplace. We represent one of the largest overseas-born Chinese communities here. The Canadian Chinese have a contrasting background. They are the children of upper-middle-class and wealthy Hong Kongers who immigrated to Canada in the late 1980s to the late 1990s. They took advantage of the 1986 Immigrant Investor Program in Canada, which attracted Hong Kongers with financial means and business expertise to invest in the country. Many of them moved due to uncertainty and anxiety surrounding the impending handover of Hong Kong from Britain to China in 1997. These Hong Kong immigrants settled in large communities in cities such as Vancouver and Toronto, significantly transforming the demographics of those areas. They established businesses, brought professional expertise, rebuilt houses, and enrolled their children in private schools. The influx of Hong Kongers was so substantial that Vancouver is sometimes referred to as Hongcouver. The Canadian Chinese community in Hong Kong is larger and more visible than the British Chinese community, with many Hong Kong celebrities coming from this background. There is the possibility of a second generation of British Chinese emerging in Hong Kong in the future. Since 2021, over 140,000 Hong Kongers have migrated to the United Kingdom, taking advantage of new rules pertaining to the British National Overseas Passport. These changes were made by the British government in response to the 2019 pro-democracy protests and the enactment of the National Security Law in Hong Kong. Unlike my parents' generation, most of these Hong Kongers are professional middle-class urbanites. Their impact on Britain is already being observed, but whether we will see their children migrating back to Hong Kong remains uncertain. However, in a city with constantly changing demographics, it would not be surprising to witness such a trend.